So welcome back, and as you can see I'm moving Li Chaobang, so this is gonna be not a Li tutorial, I'm joking. Today we're gonna talk about what are the strengths and weaknesses of Yoshimitsu in my opinion and how should he be played. I made 4 parts of moves that I think you should revolve your offense around, and today I'm gonna tie the shit together to explain you what I have on my mind when I play this character. Why am I moving Li Chaolan? Because I don't know, and my down twos are shit. Because I like the character actually. So what are Yoshimitsu's strengths? Where does he excel? In my opinion, Yoshimitsu is not a mix-up heavy character, not a character that you play aiming for big damage due to mix-ups. Not a character that relies on its sets of unblockables, even though he has the best set. But in my opinion, he's not even an Oki character anymore because his Oki got kind of fucked. Sure, you now have a stance that is very aggressive on Oki, which is very good. So I actually started using Kicho a lot on Wake Up. But keep in mind, you are very vulnerable to get up kicks, so do all your moves from a distance if you knock someone down, because you have options at your disposal, like Kicho 2, which has decent decent range, and Kicho Forward 1. So never get in the distance to get up kicked, and keep in mind that a lot of people like to spring kick when they see you dashing up at them, so you have to keep that in mind. If you think they're gonna spring kick, do back to 1 because you can combo after it if you floated them, and the second hit will hit grounded if they just stay on the ground. So now he already he got some Oki back, and he excels at his wall game, which I will explain in another video. Most people will know this, but his wall game is actually pretty scary. Not as scary as it used to be because Sword Sweep got kind of fucked, but it is still pretty good. In Season 2 it was actually brain dead in my opinion. I think Yoshimitsu's biggest strength, however, is his keep out game. His range punishment, if you teach yourself how to whiff punish with quarter circle with CD1, you will have a range 2.8 to 3 whiff punish that is mid, clips you out of every fucking stance, and is not punishable at max range for almost the entire cast. So even if you fuck up the whiff punish, if you spaced it right, nothing will happen. And from this range now, you even have access to a low that is -12 if you spaced it right. So I'm actually going that far that when I play Yoshimitsu, I play around here. I'm not even kidding. I'm not 1 backdash away, I'm playing around range 3. Where I can forward 1+2, where I can even whiff down forward 1, I can back 2 to that. And if they do a big whiff, I punish with this. I can come in with my tsunami kicks if I want. If they are moving forward and I want to keep them out, my down forward 4 will catch them if they move in. My down 2-2 will catch them if they're moving. And if I feel fancy and I need the damage, I still can Fubuki knee from range 3. So my options are actually decent, and with the new addition from Kicho 1, I can even hit them at range 4 with this law, almost. And on counter it's very scary, so my offense doesn't suffer as much from being around here, but for instance, Lee offense is almost not existent from this range, so I can negate a lot of options from my opponent. And one thing that I really have to stress out is that you have to master backdashing for this. And when you master backdashing, as you can see, I'm not doing it the correct way because I usually play on player 2 and there I can actually do it the correct way. But if you master this, you have to put the time in for mat cancelling, because this stance is actually ridiculous if you manage to pull it off every time and if you learned all the cancels. Because what you have then is a stance where you can create whiffs. You can interrupt while running freeze. You have a mid that is slow, yeah, but covers a lot of ground, is a launcher, or if it's not connecting at close range, is +9 at max range, so it's even a mix-up after blocking it. You have still tools that are safe to catch counter hits. You can create with 1 met backdash, you can create almost double the distance that you can with the normal backdash. You have 4-2 for quick counter hits, which you can cover up with spins if you whiffed it. You have one of my favorite ones is actually back 1-2 from Mat Cancel. The second one is a counter hit, and it scores me so many counter hits you wouldn't believe it. It's +5 in back turn, which is a good mix-up because you cannot sidestep back turn down 1 after on hit, and on block it safe. This stance is like an integral part of his spacing, and cannot be overstated in my opinion. So you have to familiarize. I made a video a long time ago about this stance, and there are other videos. Please check them out on other channels. Just familiarize with the stance and the options you have. Sidestepping, just turning around, there are so many. And if you learn this, chasing down Yoshimitsu for most opponents will be very, very hard to do and very annoying to do. Except for characters like Kunimitsu with warp strikes. Those are very annoying, to be honest. And then when you learn that, familiarize yourself with character matchups so you know when you can use back 2-2, when you can use down forward 1-4 as for punish, and then try to maximize the punishing potential that you get. If someone is doing a -14 move and you're gonna just 2-2 it like I do sometimes online, that is not good. You need to maximize your punishes. If you maximize your punish and you have good spacing and you have string knowledge, then the opponent will have a very, very hard time. And I think if your defense is stronger than your offense, you will enjoy this game way more. Of course, you're gonna get frustrated when people throw out random shit, but you're gonna feel that the game isn't as random as it used to be. You will create situations that will occur again and again when you land this punish, and you can then, for me, the mind game starts. How does my opponent react to this? How does my opponent try to cover these options? And then I can start to get in the opponent's head. And you cannot do this while mashing and not keeping an eye on what your opponent is doing. One last addition that I think is underrated to his gameplay is Yoshimitsu used to have a lot of problems low crushing consistently and hitting the opponent while doing so. This goes over sweeps. This has no range, so it went over sweeps. But now you have a safe low crush that is pretty rewarding on counter hit. Unfortunately, it's not doable neutral with up 1, but it has decent range for what it is. Decent frames on hit, not a problem on block, and a big reward on counter hit. So if you feel like your opponent is like pummeling you with low pokes, squeeze this in. This is decent. And then when he starts to get frustrated with chasing you down, with pinpointing you, then of course you have tools like back 3 and back 4, which are very, very effective at every level. Flash, Kitchu parry, all these things are very, very abusable when you have the life lead. Of course, flash, of course with caution. I would advise you to spin more than flash, but you get the point, right? This forces your opponent to play different. If you spin, he has to use homing moves at some points or chase you down, and he has to change up his moveset. Of course, if you spin all the time, Lee has a very, very good homing move. But in that situation, you're just gonna start, of course it doesn't work, you're just gonna start flash him and stuff. You have the advantage on defense with Yoshimitsu if you consider your tools and use them right. And that's the biggest strength in Yoshimitsu's tool set. His defensive options are comparable, in my opinion, with characters like Oscar. And you have to use them very wisely. And if you can manage that 70% of the time, you have a big chance of winning most of your matches. So I hope that gave you a good insight on how I think the character should be played. I will make a no-sword video later down the line, but that covered everything I wanted to cover. And take care. See you.